Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast, where we unlock the power within and navigate the journey of your self-discovery together. I'm Shaz, your spiritual mentor and life coach, here to help you tap into your inner guidance system and manifest your best life. Whether you're just beginning your spiritual journey or looking to deepen your practice, this podcast offers insights, techniques, and inspiration to elevate your consciousness and transform your reality. Get ready to shine your light and embrace your true potential. Remember, the answers are inside you. Let me be your guide on earth. Welcome back to the Spiritual Awakening podcast with Shaz. I'm your host, Shaz, and today I'm going to be talking about unlocking your intuitive gifts and the 5 Clairs. The Clairs are the 5 senses, so it's just basically seeing, hearing, knowing, feeling, and the connection. There's the taste and smell. So each of them have a name. So clairvoyance is clear seeing, Clair is clear hearing, Claircognizance is clear knowing, Clairsentience is clear feeling, Clair is clear tasting, and Clair olfactory is clear smelling. Most of us concentrate on the hearing, seeing, knowing, and feeling. And then the 5th Clair that's commonly bantered around is empathy. Now, clairsentience and empathy are very, very similar, but they are also very, very different. Empathic people feel things deeply, but at their core, they are healers and they want to change what they feel, not just sense it. So the sentient aspect of connecting to the feelings is just to know the historical aspects, and people will use psychometry and touch furniture or go to old locations and sense the energy there. Whereas an empath feels deeply more people's emotions, and then they want to alter the energy. So if they go to an old area, they will want to do the energy work to help shift that energy. Clairvoyants see things. They'll see auras, they'll see energy, they'll see through the realms, they'll see the elementals, pixies, fairies, and so forth. So they're all slightly different, and clairaudient people hear, and they'll hear the voice of spirit, whether internally or externally. Most clairaudients that hear are internal listeners. They hear it inside their head and have general conversation through the aspect of it's mind reading, right? So they'll hear and talk within their mind of what's going on. Cognizant people just know. They know information they've never read. They can get a book and know and understand what's in it without actually reading all the pages and things like that. So these are some of the aspects that I want to walk you through today and share some of my journey and some insights from other people that I've worked with. Okay, so voyance is visual messaging. With clairvoyance, everyone thinks, oh my God, you're going to see all the auras and everything like that. But it's actually just about seeing what's right in front of you. You'll see signs, you'll see things. We walk around, as I've said previously, a little bit blind, and in our unconscious mode, we don't really see what's right in front of us. So when signs are presented to us and you see something out of the ordinary, that is your clairvoyance clicking in. But it also means that you can see spirit when they come through mediumship. Clairvoyants will see the whole gamut of everything. They can see the auric field. They can see through the realms. They can look at a picture and see all the orbs and the energy of what's going. Clairvoyant people are scryers, so they will look at blank canvases. You may or may not be able to see the picture behind me. And if you scry into that, you'll see images within it. We all remember those 3D books that we used to look at, right? The people that used to be able to see it the easiest are clairvoyants, because they could look through what's right in front of you and they'll start to see imagery, animals, signs, symbols, or whatever it may be. And each clair shows up differently for different people. There is no one-stop rule that says every clairvoyant is going to see the same thing in the same way. Humans are multifaceted and multi-talented. It shows up exactly the way you need it to. When I see things and I'm doing readings for people or working with energy, it's like pictures will draw on a blank wall. I have a wall right in front of me and I see the outline of people, shadows will appear, fairies and elementals, animals will appear, symbology appears. It just turns up differently. I also see the auric field and the energy, and I see it floating around your body. And when I'm healing people, I can manipulate that energy. So waving through it is like, we've all been out to a club and you've seen all the mist and you wave your hand through the mist and you can see how it goes through. The aura is much like that, a misty field that you can filter through. When I was younger, I could literally see people that were dead right in front of me. And if I put my hand through them, it went through them because they weren't solid. That's just how I used to test to see whether they were real or not. Because when I was very young, I didn't know the difference. They were just normal to me. And I used to have an imaginary friend and run around playing with them and we'd hold hands, but nobody else could see it. And I was often asked, what are you holding on to? And it was my little friend. So just trust how the clairvoyant shows up for you. Clairvoyant people notice color, notice energy and subtle shifts through the sight. They see lots of flashes out of the corner of their eye. They're very peripheral in their vision. They notice things. They're very artistic. Art appeals to them very much so. They see color in different ways. They'll look at you like they're looking through you because they're seeing things all around you and behind you. And sometimes keeping eye contact with a clairvoyant person is very, very difficult because their eyes move like 100 miles an hour because they're scanning and seeing things so often that we don't really see what they see. As your clairvoyance awakens and everyone has access to all of the clairs, you will learn to adjust and focus. One of them will be dominant for you. Just trust how it turns up for you and run with that. As I said, clairvoyant people will see colors different. They'll see auras, they'll see energy, they'll see the mystical beings in the garden. They'll have very vivid imaginations. They dream and meditate in color. They can look at a blank piece of paper and see it create and turn into a movie at times. They'll run through movie reels of information around them. And it just adjusts with the way that you want it to. There are specific ways that you can harness the energy of your clairvoyance. And a great little tool that's a simple test that anyone can do is, if you want to look at your own auric field, go into your bathroom, dim the lights down and get 2 candles. Place 1 candle either side of you on the counter and sit there and stare into your reflection. But in your reflection, take your eyes and focus on the candles. And as your eyes are focusing on the flickering flames of the candle, your eyes will self-adjust and your aura and the colors around you will highlight and come and reflect in the mirror. It is a process that takes a while, but if you trust it and you play with it, it works really, really well. It's one of the first ways that I consciously started to bring the aura into effect for my own aura so I could see it, because I always was able to see other people's and struggled to see my own. Clairaudience is my strongest clair. I am highly clairaudient. I hear the voice of spirit, and it all started with ringing in the ears, white noise, or hearing sounds from long, long distance away. One of the typical signs of people who have clairaudience is tinnitus. So that ringing in the ears, that's intermittent, okay? If you have the condition tinnitus, if you have the medical condition of tinnitus, which is the damage to the eardrum, it is constant. It never, ever, ever goes away. It is with you 24/7 until you heal it. And it can be healed at times, and other times you may be stuck with it on some level due to the damage of the eardrum. But clairaudient people get what's called intermittent tinnitus, or intermittent ringing in the ears, white noise, blocking out of sound. It's like your head's underwater, all sorts of activities like that. That essence of that connection is what I call the spiritual doorbell. It is how my guides communicate with me. So if I'm doing something and they're ringing that bell, I'll stop and I'll ask, how can I be of service? What do you need? Tell me what I want. Or quite frankly, just stop because you're annoying the crap out of me, because it does at times. Nobody likes tinnitus. But it gets the information through and I ask what I want and the information comes and goes. Sometimes it will happen to me just when I'm healing. So you never know when your guides are around you giving you healing energy. For example, last night I was up quite late. I was up till 3 a.m. because I was having all this healing done. And I'm like, what are you doing? They're going, we're just healing all the aches and pains. And I've woken up today feeling so refreshed. There's no back pain in my back. My hip feels more aligned and I'm pumped and full of energy and vibration, ready to go. So trust that when this energy comes, sometimes it may be for messages and other times they will come to show that they're working on your physical vibration. The reason it happens with tinnitus is the best healing that you can get is energetic through vibrational frequency. So the toning. So that tinnitus sound is frequency that's happening on a level that I can sometimes hear and sometimes can't, but I know it's affecting my body. Last night while I was experiencing it, I still had my Apple Watch on. And so I was just looking at my heart rate and different things. And while I'm lying there, there's fluctuations in it. So I know that energy is coming to me. I was getting hotter. I was experiencing tingling in different areas. And then I had a short amount of sleep because, as I said, I didn't go to bed till after 3:30, but I slept until 7:30 this morning when my alarm went off or I needed to get up. And I'm vibrant. I'm charged. I'm supersonic energy because I got perfect alignment of sleep that was deep relaxation and healing. The other ways Clairaudience speaks to you is you'll hear sounds off in a distance. I often walk into rooms and go, oh, did you hear that? They go, no, you really can't hear that noise, that high-pitched ringing, the sound above things. Sometimes I honestly think I have the same sort of hearing as a dog because I can hear very high-pitched sounds from long distances away. And I notice that the only other people that notice it at the time are the dogs because I'll start getting restless with it. You can hear deeper, lower vibrations. You feel vibrational. You hear the bass rhythm and things like that. One of the classic episodes of The Simpsons, when they put the music speakers down and the vibration sends all the snakes away or brings them to them. I can't remember. I know there's snakes involved in the rhythm activates them. I can feel that energetically. I feel the earth move through my clairsentience and my empathy, but I hear it first. I will get tinnitus or ringing in the ears before I feel the vibrational frequency because that's my strongest clair. It may be different for you, and that's okay. Clairsentience or empathy is the ability to feel energy, emotions, temperature, vibrational frequency. I touch furniture or objects and I can feel different rhythms in it. I put up a post during the week about what's considered a life quake. It's the energy of the shift in vibrational frequency through your rebirth, right? It's an energy vibrational change within you. And I felt that when I was healing a client because I felt her feet vibrate much like an earthquake. And we talked about the rebirth that she was going through because she was having what's called a life quake, which is the equivalence of the earthquake. I often feel through my feet the earth talking to me or vibrating, and then I'll go and check online about news and things like that, and there'll be earthquakes somewhere or major weather events that you can feel. You can feel disturbances and distances from long distance away. But the funny part is, not that long ago, there've been a couple of minor earthquakes in Australia, and I never actually felt them, usually because I was too busy doing something or I'm surrounded by music that is very different pitch, so the energy didn't come through because the music was creating that calming feeling that I didn't need to be fully aware of at the time. So when you feel things as an empath or a sentient person, you can take objects, as I said, and hold them, and you'll get energy, vibrational frequency, and messages from them. One of the key tools for that is scrying. So it is holding on to, or psychometry. So grabbing a ring of a person and holding on to it, and then feeling the energy from it, and stories will come through it. Clairsentient people can go to like old historical sites and touch and feel, and they'll experience within their body the way good or bad things happen at those sites. I've been to beautiful sites where wonderful, glorious memories have occurred, and the last time I did it, I was at a friend's wedding and I was tuning into the multitude of weddings that had been through the venue and all the love and the joy and occasionally the sadness and the terror of what goes on, because not every wedding is perfect. But in it, you can feel the different fluctuations that exist within the building and the frequency of the place or area that you're at. many people talk about when they've been to Uluru, that they feel the different frequency of the energy of the place. The same as places like Port Arthur or other tragic sites. I've done ghost hunts at Maitland Jail, and in it, we were in one of the shower recesses, and I felt this horrible experience of these people dying. And I was describing what I was sensing and seeing, and 3 other people were talking about it. And together we pieced together the riot that happened in that particular room and how the different people died, because we all felt it through our body. As a clairsentient or an empathic person, when you're doing mediumship readings and things like that, they'll show you physically so you can sense and feel how a person has passed over to spirit. And sometimes it's not pleasant. Stab wounds hurt. Okay. Getting shot is not pleasant, and strokes are not great either. But sometimes that's just how they show you in how to feel it. So sentient people are very, very tactile and very interested in textures and textiles and really like soft and gentle things. They notice the difference between, like, if you are, just say you're a woodsman and a craftsman of woodwork and things like that, and you're a sentient person, you will feel the smoothness and ridges in things long before other people can sense it. They have very sensitive fingertips and the ability to touch more about just gentle things. They'll notice imperfections faster than other people. And then we come to claircognizant. Now, claircognizant people, it's called clear knowing, and they just know things. And this is one of the clairs that I've used for many, many years now. I can recite information that are written in books about places that I've never read. I've had the book on my shelf but not read it, and I've absorbed the information. I can tap into universal connection and consciousness to gather information about data of what I don't know. You can learn to, when I'm reading people, when I'm doing connections with people, I can read their energy and get the information of what's inside their mind and the knowledge that they have from their education based on the connection to the energy, and know what they're talking about without knowing. And it's an interesting factor to know things that you don't know. And I can talk about many, many different topics with people and go, I don't know what I'm talking about. And they go, I do. I'm glad you do, because they've learnt about it. But you'll have technical knowledge. You'll have words that you've never heard of or spoken before that will appear in your mind. The great part about claircognizant people, they're very good at trivia. Okay? They have random facts of information. They don't know where they heard it, how they heard it, but they can long recall things that they've heard many, many years ago or even lifetimes ago, and they hold knowledge from different times that they've never physically, consciously studied, but it does lie within the unconscious and the soul. So it connects them. Clairgustance people taste. So you can, if I say to you, think of a lemon, hold it up to your nose and smell it. Take a deep breath in, and you're going to taste the bitterness of the lemon on your tongue. That is the sense of clairgustance. It's tasting things before they're in your mouth. If you ever walk past a bakery and you can taste the whatever they're cooking, or the cookies or the muffins or the bread, that you can taste it in your mouth, and even though that you've not eaten it in any way, shape or form. And clairolfactory is smelling. So you can smell scents far away. I'm very connected to my olfactory sense, especially when women come through in spirit, is I can smell their perfume. Thankfully, I got rid of my allergies to gardenias and jasmine, because whenever they'd come through with strong smelling perfume, I'd start sneezing and my eyes would start watering. Now I can breathe them in and smell them. I still don't like the scent, but it doesn't affect me as much anymore due to a healing process that I took place with. So all of these are different aspects that manifest your clair and your communication with your spirit. Everything has an auric or an energy field and has a vibrational frequency. And this is what we communicate with when we're connecting via the different senses and the clairs. One of the subtle signs of claircognizance is just knowing who's on the phone before you look at who's ringing, or thinking about someone and they call you. And that's a bit like the ESP factor of where you're having mind-to-mind communication. You put a thought out into the universe that, oh, I really want to talk to this person. And the next thing you know, they're on your phone. So just trust that however it shows up for you is exactly the way that you need it in that moment, because that is your intuition, your higher self, your inner guidance talking to you and giving you the direction that you're seeking. These different frequencies of connecting with this energy can be mastered. They each have different ways to harness them, right? For Clairaudience, if you want to harness it, you get a notebook and you ask a question and you'll start hearing the answer. It's like the self-talk of hearing a question answered before you finish writing the question. A lot of people go, oh, that's just my brain thinking about that. The brain can't answer a question and doesn't know. And trust me, as you're writing a question or thinking of something, you're getting the answer before you fully thought the process through. That is your intuition and your higher self or the spirit guides around you communicating with you. As you work through mastering the different skills with Clairsentience, if you want to master that skill, hold objects and sit there and write down all the feelings that you get associated with it. One of the best ways, as I've recommended before, to work with your tools or your spirit guides is to do it through journaling. Because the more you record the interactions that you have, the more you acknowledge and understand how it is received by you, the more you'll notice that you do it more and more often. These can be very, very subtle, and you're doing it long before you ever consciously become aware of it. So to practice each one, for clairvoyance, you want to practice visualization techniques, as I said, or do the aura energy technique in the bathroom mirror. It's through these techniques and tools that you're going to start to get better. The best way is to find a patterned canvas or picture, or even sit out and look at the clouds and start to notice pattern shapes or images in it. Write down what they are and then look up the metaphysical meaning of those images. To harness and attune to your clairaudience, pay attention to that intermittent tinnitus. And literally the tinnitus is because you're not on the same frequency as your guides. So imagine an AM FM dial on a radio, right? So you get the ringing in your ears and you ask them, what do you need? And it either gets louder or softer. Ask them to change the channel and you attune to the new channel, and then the information will come through and you start to write it down, record it for yourself and give them time. Okay? All they want is time to be heard, felt, or seen. And sometimes you get the tinnitus and words won't necessarily come, but frequency will come. You get tingles or shivers or energy through it. To practice your clairsentience, you can do body scanning. You can attune and check in with your chakras. You can practice psychometry by picking up objects and feeling the resonance of it and asking, what does it mean? Who is it? What it's about. Clairsentient people often walk into rooms and feel shifts in temperature and frequency. So you'll get a cold shiver, or you'll feel a warm patch, or you'll feel the shift in temperature as you go along. So just pay attention to those things. If you want to focus on your claircognizance, the best way to do that is through automatic writing. Just discuss your feelings or ask, what do I need to know today? And just trust what comes. When I automatic write, it starts out really quite legibly for about 3 lines, and then the pen starts to go over and I'm scribbling and scribbling and scribbling. And at the end of it, my whole arm aches because of the pressure of the other person using my hand to scribe. Sometimes I can read it, other times I can't. But because I hear it and I acknowledge it as it comes through as I'm writing it, I get the message the first time anyway. If I'm meant to understand it and use it later, it's always in some form of writing that I can comprehend at times. To practice your claircognizance, just ask random questions. What do I know about this? And discover what you know about what's going on. What does this mean? And delve deep beneath the surface. Hold a book or hold a deck of cards or another tool and ask, what do you need to know about that? What is the story behind that? And knowledge will come through. With your gustance and your Clair olfactory, just pay attention to smells, tastes, and sounds and filter through what does it mean for you? What does it remind you of? One of the greatest ways to access our memories and what spirit will do for us is through scent. So if your grandfather's passed away and he used to smoke a pipe and all of a sudden you're around doing things and you can smell smoke but there's no smoke around, that is usually a sign that he's nearby and he's getting your attention, because we pay attention to smell, good, bad, or otherwise. We can dismiss heaps of other signs, but if your olfactory is affected, it really stops us in our tracks. Like, what is that? Where do I have to track that smell from? When you get it, just ask the questions. What is it? Who is it? What do I need to know about it? What is it here for? What do you want to tell me? And just sit, meditate, close your mind down and ask to receive. The information will come through the way you need it to. Music is very, very important for clairaudient people. Listening to solfeggio sounds and different frequencies will adjust the ability for you to connect to the wider realms. So you utilize whatever tools are available. Healing tools, singing bowls, tuning forks are all great things for clairaudient people. They love the different frequency of the sound. Just do what you need to do that works for you to master your strongest Clair. If you get really stuck and don't know how to master your strongest Clair, reach out to me. I have a little test that tells me, one, how you receive information logically, and then I know from the answers of that test and how it racks up what your Clair is by the second strongest sense that you have. Happy to run it through with you. Everyone has a strongest ability and the rest filter through. Many people are masters of all. I have mastered the whole lot over my time, but I have been doing this for best on 35 years now, since I started to really come awake when I was 16. Do not put pressure on yourself. Do not make it hard. Don't overthink it. Just allow it to flow. 3 to 5 minutes practice a day over time, and you'll start to notice so much more connection, so much more energy around you. And you practice the different techniques in flow. Focus on one at a time. Don't go, I'm going to do clairvoyance now in 5 minutes and then add the rest. Your brain, consciousness, and intuition will become overwhelmed. Focus on one for a week and then swap to the next one and then swap to the next one and so forth. And you'll start to see which one is best. And you'll notice that one activates so much more. I hope this episode has helped you. If you have any questions, please feel free to write to me, email me, reach out in the comments. Please subscribe, like the channel, and follow. All feedback, information is really appreciated. I'm working on further episodes to help you through this awakening period. The Clairs are one of the first aspects of your intuition that do awaken, and most people don't understand what it is. These glimpses out of the corner of your eye, the flashes of lights, the twinkles that are out there are activating your clairvoyance. The ringing in your ears, sounds from a distance, or that white noise, or feeling like your head's underwater is activating your clairaudience. Feeling temperature changes where there's no temperature change, feeling shifts in hot and cold, getting tingles and goosebumps, or your hands standing on end is activating your clairsentience. Having somewhat brain fog or a download of information, or someone having a conversation and you just know the exact answer to the question that they're asking, and then after you've, what I call verbal diarrhea, the answer to them, okay, how did I know that? That is how your claircognizance activates. The smell, you'll smell things from further distance than most people. I sometimes will bring and go, oh, can you smell that? No. And they're not smelling it. You can activate your Clair olfactory really simply, just asking people, can you smell popcorn? And then take a deep breath. Well, yes, I can. Again, that's an aspect of Clair olfactory. There's no popcorn popping anywhere, but just the scent of it can happen. The same with the lemon. Imagine a big yellow lemon in your hand. Take a deep breath. Can you smell that lemony, fresh fragrance? Yes, you can. You can talk about food. We all salivate at different things. Find your favorite taste and practice attuning to it. Talk about memories. My grandfather, I was 7 years old when he passed away. To this day, and I'm 51 now, and that surprises me every day, I can still taste the cabbage rolls that he used to cook, and I have not had them for 44 years. That is the essence of being attached to your clairs. It is powerful. It holds stronger memories than anything, and it reminds you of different essences of life and brings about great joy and peace. So thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and look out for the next one. Until next time. Thanks for listening to the Spiritual Awakening with Shaz podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below so you don't miss an episode. You can also follow us on Facebook with the links below. Until next time, trust your intuition and let your spirit soar.